What's up, everybody? Truth Seeker here. This is actually pretty revealing, I'd say. This is actually something that I had suspicions on, but I was waiting for some kind of news to actually come out about it. But how do you know? I mean, especially from the Coreys, the two Coreys, Corey Haynes, they was talking about how when they was child actors, that they was witnessing and they was actually involved in this elite pedophile ring with these Hollywood people and stuff, and all child celebrities and actors and everything, they said, goes through this kind of stuff. And so I kind of already assumed, like, every single child actor that you guys know of, child actor, singer, talent, anything, has a pretty good chance that they also been involved with it. And now Justin Bieber is actually coming forward. Never really thought I would actually be the one to do a news story on this, so it's actually kind of weird. But Justin Bieber states that pedophiles run the evil music industry. And this is something that, you know, a lot of the Hollywood celebrities have been saying for years, and they always ran up committing suicide or something else. And then just recently we had Chris Cornell and also Chester Bennington that also randomly just committed suicide, and they was also trying to expose these industry pedophile rings that, you know, all these celebrities are talking about. And this is, you know, now Justin Bieber coming forward about this. So it says Justin Bieber told hundreds of people at a Bible study class in Los Angeles that he has woken up to the evils of music industry, and he needs to take a break from the industry because it is controlled by the absolute worst kind of people, pedophiles. Bieber has become a regular at the Bible study class held in the Montage in Beverly Hills on Saturday, 22nd July. He shared what he described as a horrific story with the congregation and explained why he felt he had to quit his world tour. Describing a party on tour attended by the upper echelon of the music business, including executive VPs of development, producers, power agents, and international financiers, Bieber said he was encouraged to sexually abuse a young child who had been brought to the party for the sexual gratification of the industry elite. I didn't want to do this. I really didn't. They said this kid was drugged. It was horrible, Bieber said, explaining that it was made clear to him that he would gain entry to the business side of the industry if he joined the club by passing the initiation rites. I wouldn't just be a performer, I'd be a mogul. That path would open up for me, like it did for Jay-Z. It's the difference between being a millionaire and being a billionaire. But Bieber told the congregation that he couldn't do it. To join the club, I'd have to do bad things to this poor kid. But then I realized that even that wasn't enough for them. I'd also have to kill this little child. Bieber said he had heard rumors about this type of initiation in the music industry, but he had not been confronted with it before. I got told they secretly film these parties. Once they've got you on video doing something like that, they own you. You don't know how many times I heard celebrities say stuff like that, especially stuff going on with Bohemian Grove and everything else. That was all saying that. Even Skull and Crossbones has rituals and stuff that they actually film these people so they have a piece of blackmail on them for later on. Even on Jeffrey Epstein's island, the known pedophile that had his own private island that he was flying these girls in on, and this plane that he called the Lolita Express. He even had cameras hidden on his island for blackmail purposes for these high-profile figures that are actually going to his island. This is like just something that these elites been doing for a long time. These music industries, and not just music industries, but Hollywood too, they'll sit there and they'll make a deal with someone. And they'll say they'll give you this, this, and this as long as you do this, but you got to let us record it. And then now that they have it recorded, they're going to use that to make you do whatever the hell they want. All because you wanted that upfront cash. And that's the way all these stories end up going. And then usually by the time that the people get to the point of actually starting to expose it and everything, then they just randomly commit suicide. People, this has got to start becoming a pattern. People have to start looking at stuff like this. Bieber said his conscience is clear because he didn't participate, but the fate of the drug child is haunting him. They said this kid was raped by a few different guys. They said he was bleeding. I got out of there, but I heard he died, and that haunts me. Says this allegation from Justin Bieber adds to the wave of the accusations made by celebrities and musicians about the real nature of the music and entertainment industry elite. Corey Feldman and Elijah Wood have both gone on record exposing the pedophilia at heart of Hollywood. According to Elijah Wood, innocent young lives are destroyed to satisfy people with parasitic interests who see you as their prey. In an interview with the Sunday Times, Wood dropped a series of bombshells about the pedophiles that run the industry. Nothing that clearly something major was going on in Hollywood. It was all organized. If you read the Washington Post or watch CNN, pedophilia is not a problem, and those who talk about it are in tinfoil hat-wearing kooks perpetrating fake news. But more and more stars are coming forward with similar stories about the depraved Hollywood and music industry system. In recent months, Nicole Kidman and Lindsay Lohan also spoke out about pedophilia in Hollywood. Close friends of Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington claim the recently deceased pair were working on exposing the pedophile ring working at the heart of the music industry, and it cost them their lives. Justin Bieber just shocked his fans by canceling his world tour and announcing that he needed some time away from the music industry. But as more information comes to light, it appears he made the best possible decision. And it's too out there. It's like not hidden knowledge at all. None of this is hidden knowledge. People have been talking about this stuff for years, and it just makes you start thinking, wow, this could be why these people are just randomly dying, right? It's because they're sitting here trying to expose these powerful, rich, elite people. And you're sitting here hearing the story from Justin Bieber. But I'm pretty sure there's still skeptics out there that's saying that, oh, this is just some made-up bullshit, this is fake news, blah, blah, blah. This ain't fake news, people. This really isn't. If you really are going to sit there and actually deny the fact that all these celebrities that's been saying for years that there's a elite pedophile ring that runs the goddamn show, you're going to really sit there and deny all their stories? And then half these people are dying that are talking about it? Get out of here. But this is real, and I'm going to actually show you an interview of someone that actually was a part of one of these before. Go ahead and check this out. Tell me if this is fake.
What you doing? Huh?
I didn't know that the thing was Bohemian Grove back then, nor did the kid when he was writing it. All he knew was he was taken to this place. Let me just read it. It'll take 3 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I went in January. Now, this is Benassi, a kid named Paul Benassi writing this, and this is directly word for word from his diary. I went in January of '84 on every trip. I was paid by men King knew for sex. In the summer of '84, sometime, I went to Dallas, Texas, and had sex with several men King knew in a hotel. I flew on YNR Airlines, by the way, that's a private airline or private charter deal, and CAM Airlines, another private charter deal, normally for King. I never had much personally to do with King, only went where he told me to go. In or on July 26th, I went to Sacramento, California. King flew me out on a private plane from Epley Airfield in Omaha to Denver, where we picked up Nicholas, a boy who was about 12 or 13. Then we flew to Vegas, to a desert strip, and drove into Las Vegas into some ranch and got something. Then flew on to Sacramento. We were picked up by a white limo and taken to a hotel. I don't remember the name of it. We, meaning Nicholas and I, were driven to an area that had big trees. It took about an hour to get there. There was a cage with a boy in it who was not wearing anything. Nicholas and I were given these Tarzan things to put around us and stuff like that. They told me to, I won't use the word, blank the boy and stuff. In other words, have sex with him. At first I said no, and they held a gun to my genitals, I'll use the word, and said do it or else lose them or something like that. I began doing it to the boy and stuff. And Nicholas had anal sex and stuff with him. We were told to blank him and stuff and beat on him. I didn't try to hurt him. We were told to put our blanks in his mouth and stuff and sit on the boy's blank and stuff, and they filmed it. We did this stuff to the boy for about 30 minutes or an hour when a man came in and kicked us and stuff in the genitals and picked us up and threw us. He grabbed the boy and started blanking him and stuff. The man was about, I'm not sure how to say it, the man was about so many inches long, and the boy screamed and stuff, and the man was forcing his blank into the boy all the way. The boy was bleeding from his rectum, and the men tossed me and him and stuff and put the boy right next to me and grabbed a gun and blew the boy's head off. The boy's blood was all over me, and I started yelling and crying. The men grabbed Nicholas and I and forced us to lie down. They put the boy on top of Nicholas, who was crying, and they were putting Nicholas' hands on the boy's blank. They put the boy on top of me and did the same thing. They then forced me to blank the dead boy. It gets pretty crude. They put a gun to our heads to make us do it. His blood was all over us. They made us kiss the boy's lips and anyway, do other things. Then they made me do something I don't even want to even write, so I won't. After that, the men grabbed Nicholas and drug him off, screaming. They put me up against a tree and put a gun to my head that fired into the air. I heard another shot from somewhere, and then saw the man who killed the boy drag him like a toy. Everything, including when the men put the boy in a trunk, was filmed. The men took me with them, and we went up in a plane. I saw the bag the boy was in. We went over a very thick brush area with a clearing in it. Over the clearing, they dropped the boy. One said the men with the hoods would take care of the body for them. I didn't see Nicholas until that night at the hotel. He and I hugged and held each other for a long while. About 2 hours later, the men or Larry King came in and told us to go take a shower since we had only been hosed off at some guy's house. We took a shower together and then were told to put on the Tarzan things. After we were cleaned up and dressed in these things, we were told to put on short socks and a shirt and shoes and driven to a house where the men were at with some others. They had the film and they played it. As the men watched, they passed Nicholas and I around as if we were toys.
Huh? I did what they told me to do. What'd you do? They told me to do. Huh? I did what they told me to do. What did they say to do? Have sex with me? Okay. Now you were used to having sex with people, right? Something else must have happened then when it fall.
Was just crying and I was telling him, you alright? I told the guy, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. But they're going, do it or else, or we'll finish you too.
Who's telling you this, Paul?
The guy that was directing the thing. Says you either do this or we're going to kill you too.
Do what, Paul? Do what?
This creepy kid.
Okay, so you screwed the kid, then what happened? Did Nicholas screw the kid too?
Yeah.
Something you're not telling me, Paul.
Yeah. Had some other guy came in and he didn't even know about it. And Nicholas didn't even know what was going to go on next. This guy came in and he started kicking the shit out of Nicholas and he started trying to kick the shit out of me. He started beating on the kid. He started beating on it.
Who started beating on him?
This guy that was with the film crew and stuff, he came in and he started having sex with this kid.
Okay.
Bleeding.
Bleeding from where?
Right there.
Okay. You okay?
And then this guy dragged him around.
Are you in the cage?
He started dragging him around. And he kept he was dragging the kid around. He was still having sex with him. Just tossing his kid around like
Where's he goes?
he was just tossing his kid around like it was a bag of potatoes or something. He started slamming him all over the place. And then he came back and he started kicking the shit out of me again. He started kicking my head. I started to do something to hit him with a stick. right in the balls and took it back. Then he took me and Nicholas and shoved us in the cage. And he took this kid and he sat there and sat him up.
Sat him up.
Right next to the cage, and then he kicked the kid in his face. The kid was just crying. I kept yelling at the guy selling us, I said, kill him if I got a hold of him. I said, no, they shot him.
You what?
Shot him in his head. Right after that, I tried to kill myself. Took his back to the hotel and tried to cut my wrist.
Who shot him? Paul? Did you shoot him with a pistol or a rifle?
There you go. Pistol.
Where exactly did they shoot him on his body?
Kind of his head.
Front and behind?
The front.
Events of your case, I remember you telling me clearly that at first, when you started looking into these facts, there was nothing in your person that would believe the story that this young man told you. Yet, as you dug into it, what did you find, John, as you dug deeper?
Well, we'll start at the beginning. You said it right. In fact, that's how I got involved, because when some strange stories started filtering on the street from these young people after this Franklin credit union had been raided back when the credit unions were collapsing and all kinds of terrible things were occurring. I was one of the first ones that stood up publicly and said, well, this all has to be just a lot of fantasy and nonsense, because if anybody really seriously believes the stories that are coming out on the street from these kids, I said, well, if you really believed it, I said, then I'd be the first one to step forward and insist we do something about it. But this is like La La Land. Well, I got a letter from some kid that had been arrested on the night of the Franklin raid, when the feds raided the credit union, and he had been picked up that night and put in jail on some spurious grounds that he touched, kind of like Foley, that he touched his cousin on the outside of his pants in the wrong place or something. Anyway, and so the kid wrote me a letter and said, well, Mr. DeCamp, I read your stuff and heard about you, and if you'd come talk to me, I could tell you where to find some stuff that would prove it's not just fantasy or La La Land like you claim. And I thought, well, I better put my actions where my mouth has been, so I went to Omaha where he was locked up and visited with him, and he had some strange stories, but more important than anything else, some things that, locations he told me where he had hidden certain things, and if I'd go and look at those places, I'd find these things. One of them was a set of diaries, and ever since he was a little boy, his grandfather had taught him to keep a diary, and so he kept a diary of everything, and so I thought, well, heck, I'll go check that out. And I went and found these diaries, just like he said they would be hidden in this place. And the first thing I did, though, was I went and took them to one of the group of these company that analyzes writing and printing and ink and all that to see if it's legitimate or whatever. And they came back and they concluded, yeah, this is all kinds of different ink, because some of it didn't exist in this year and others did. Anyway, one thing led to another, and some of the stories then he had written in there I started checking out, and pieces fell into place, and unfortunately then I was in the midst of it and representing and defending the kids, and I went from there on and on and on and on.
And you found there were other kids involved here, weren't there? Like with this girl Kimberly and Nellie. Did you ever speak to these two?
I think I did. Now remember, this all started, what, God, it's close to
85.
85, 86, got really
Yeah.
heavy in 88, 9, 91, anyway.
Right.
I'm sure I did. I just don't remember all the kids I spoke to now, and I'm pretty cautious about saying anything if I don't absolutely remember it or have it documented somewhere, as you well know from previous experience.
Yeah. Well,
Everything I did write
Mhm.
in that book, when the book first came out, by the way, I don't know if I told you this, but a bunch of fairly prominent people whose names you'd recognize, had some lawyers have a press conference, and they said, well, this is the most libelous, horrible thing that had ever been written, or on and on and on, and that this man, DeCamp, would be sued and his bar or, lawyer license taken away, and libel and slander and on and on and on. So I immediately had a press conference right afterwards. And I said, hey, I just happen to agree with these guys that these are the worst, most terrible things anybody could say about anyone, and so on and so forth. I said, however, these people all know, and the lawyers all know, that there is one magic thing, the first thing you learn in law school, that quotes truth. Truth is an absolute defense to any claims of slander or libel. I said, in this case, I'm ready to prove every single thing I wrote, and if I can't prove it, I didn't say it. And of course, there were no lawsuits against me or for the book.
What you do? They told me to. Huh? I did what they told me to do.
Where he was describing this at was Bohemian Grove. I shouldn't have to talk anymore about Bohemian Grove. If you guys don't know about Bohemian Grove, I'm going to leave you to a link. I'm going to put it in my description, and I'm also going to put it right here at the top of the video. And this should explain everything about the whole Pizzagate thing, how it all started, how these rich pedophiles been doing things, and it doesn't explain the whole thing because I'm still missing a lot of pieces and stuff. But this is just the knowledge that I've gained on the industry and stuff for a long time, and I've been watching and following all these other people that's also been exposing, and Alex Jones did a really good job exposing Bohemian Grove. He did an excellent job exposing it.
One last question. I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal, it's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you. Oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, "Hey, I don't run around in the woods naked." What did that mean? Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, "I didn't run around naked like they did."
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials.
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film, and did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them up after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual genuinely?
Sir, everything. I don't owe you this comment.
I know.
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you and goodbye.
The ritual?
It's none of your damn business.
Oh.
Listen. You go around and make understandings with people and violate them. You ambush people on the streets, and that's inappropriate form of journalism. If you wish to practice that, that's fine, but don't ask others to respect you for it. If you want to, you can do. You're a free American, like anything you want. If you want to be uncivil and rude and ungentlemanly, that's up to you. But don't expect the rest of us to say, "Oh well, you're
there, Mr. Gergen."
I'm sorry, nobody sets policy in there. We try to be gentlemen, and obviously, you don't belong there.
Weaving spiders coming out here. Yeah, that is a three-pointer. Woo!
Look how strangely he behaved when we brought it up. Why is he acting so secretive? And why did he get so angry when he discovered that we'd snuck in? You see, they take it very, very seriously. This is one of the hallmarks of the occult and secret societies. The word occult means secret. Secrecy is part of their religion. They revel in it. And when it's violated, they become extremely angry.
He literally crashed it. He just walked in there with a camera and recorded all their stupid rituals and everything that they did, and then put that shit out there. And I love that. I love that stuff. Alex Jones has actually made a big difference when it comes to a lot of the news that we sit here and talk about and describe to people as what's news and what's fake. There's so many people now that'll call Alex Jones a shill because he recanted back on his statement about Pizzagate and everything. But think about it, people. If these people are this powerful, right, and you're someone like Alex Jones, you're a public profile now. Everybody knows where you live. Everybody knows who your family is. Everybody knows every single thing about you now. What would it take to keep you hushed? Definitely leave your thoughts below on what you think about this. And thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe to our channel, like our video, and comment below, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace! And don't forget to click the notification bell.